So did you know that in 2026, the world famous Route 66 will be turning 100 years old? So as a result, Brad and I thought, let's get a jump start on this and see what all the hubbub is about with Route 66. So come along and join us and maybe get some ideas on your adventure to Route 66 in our new Squatch Dog adventure. We're going to start to get our kicks on Route 66 here in Springfield, Illinois, which is not only the state capital of Illinois, but also the home of President Abraham Lincoln.
Yep. Let's start the tour.
Okay. Did you know that he lived here between like 1837 and 1861, I think? Or something like that, yeah. And then he's buried here in this cemetery. We're going to go check out his tomb. Come along.
Here's his nose.
Oh.
Rub it for good luck.
Okay. Yeah, you're supposed to rub his nose for good luck. Give me good luck. It looks like they're doing some work on his tomb, but we can go inside and look anyway. On his tomb is a statue of Abraham Lincoln holding the Emancipation Proclamation, which allowed for the freeing of slaves. So let's go inside the tomb and see what is all in here. What you reading, Brad?
About his life.
There's lots of statues here. Some of them are replicas that are actually stored in Washington, D.C. Mary Lincoln and 3 of her 4 sons are entombed behind this wall. One of his sons was buried at Arlington National Cemetery in Washington, D.C. This is a piece of the sarcophagus where Lincoln was originally buried, but somebody tried to steal his body back in the 1800s. And so Abraham Lincoln's son requested that he be buried 10 feet under with a cage over the top of him so that nobody would try to steal his body again for ransom. And here he lies as a result, 10 feet down with a cage over him. So apparently the rubbing of Lincoln's nose started back in World War II. Soldiers would come and visit the tomb, and then they would rub his nose before leaving for war for good luck. And it's stuck ever since. What did you learn? You were talking to that guy.
Yeah, it was nice to read some stuff that Lincoln said. He had a way with words, that guy.
He did. He definitely did.
That was the good old days.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot of Union soldiers that are buried here.
Yeah, he said down here, it's a big cemetery.
Well, we'll have to go check it out. Maybe drive by it.
Okay.
So this is a plot that was put together back in 1891 here at the Oak Ridge Cemetery. Buried here are Civil War Union Army veterans who didn't have family plots where they could be buried elsewhere, so they put them here. So this is the first temporary tomb that housed Abraham Lincoln and his son. They were held here in this temporary tomb from May 4th of 1865 to December 21st of 1865. From there, they were moved halfway up the hill to another temporary holding location. And then eventually they built the tomb behind here, which is where their bodies are housed to this day. So Brad, did you know that the Oak Ridge Cemetery here in Springfield is the second most visited cemetery outside of Arlington National Cemetery in
Yeah, the
Washington,
guy told me
D.C.?
that.
Yeah, there's a lot of history in this cemetery.
Yeah, he told me there's quite a few people besides Lincoln too.
Like who?
I can't remember. Some coffee maker.
A coffee maker?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Pretty cool place.
So here we are in downtown Springfield, Illinois, Brad.
Okay. Looks nice.
Yeah. And there is the Illinois State Capitol right in front of us. This is the first Presbyterian church where the Lincoln family worshiped. Matter of fact, the pew of the Lincoln family is still inside this church. This is the street that Abraham Lincoln and his family lived in while he was serving as a representative for the state of Illinois before he became president. There are a variety of historic homes down this street that have been preserved. So this is the house where Mary Todd and Abraham Lincoln raised their family. They lived here from 1844 to 1861. And when 1861 rolled around, that's when Abraham closed the door for the very last time before he became president of the United States of America. This house was basically a small little cottage when they first moved in, and then they expanded it, and it is the house that it is today. You can tour this home for free. You just got to go to the visitor center and get a ticket and a time. Unfortunately, we don't have time to tour the home. We got to get our kicks on Route 66. So we're going to make our way down to St. Louis tonight. Springfield was kind of a cool stop, don't you think?
Yeah, the cemetery is nice.
Yeah, and seeing Lincoln's home, the Lincoln family home, and the Lincoln family church, and just that whole historic downtown and the state capitol. I mean, you could easily spend a couple of days in Springfield just to check it all out. But we got places to go, don't we?
Yes, we do.
All right, onward to St. Louis.
I'm sure it'll get better.
Is it a little boring for you and flat?
Yes.
No, it's not very exciting.
No, not today. Quad Cities to wherever we are hasn't changed.
It kind of makes you wonder why somebody wrote a song about this road.
Yeah, it does. But it's the whole highway, so we're just at the start of it. Or the beginning.
Hopefully it gets better. I think it will.
We'll find out. We're doing it.
We're doing it. Route 66. Roadkill and all. I'm kind of excited to see an armadillo. An armadillo from Amarillo. What do you think? You think I could see that?
I'm gonna look for it.
I actually heard that some of these roads on the side, what do they call those?
Frontage roads.
Frontage roads. I heard that that's the old Route 66. So that might be Route 66 right there. Whereas this is Interstate 55. So here's a little bit of historic Route 66 trivia for you. This is the Soulsby Service Station in Mount Olive, Illinois. And Russell and Henry Soulsby opened up this gas station. They were a couple of immigrants who moved to the United States, and they opened this up back in 1926. But Route 66 didn't run in front of their service station until they realigned Route 66 to run smack dab in front of this service station back in 1930. And this little gas station thrived for years. Inside this gas station, there's all sorts of memorabilia. So right now we're traveling on old Route 66. We got off the highway and there's a section where we're driving on it to get back onto Interstate 55 South towards St. Louis. So this is an interesting cemetery in Mount Olive, Illinois. It's the Union Miners Cemetery, and it came about back in 1898. Back then, there were some coal miners who were unionized, and they were working for the Chicago Verdon Coal Company, and they wanted a union wage that they had negotiated, and the coal company execs said, nope, we're not going to pay that. So eventually they brought in scabs, and there was a skirmish that broke out. It was an armed skirmish. Some of the miners died. 4 of them were from the Mount Olive area, and when they tried to bury them in the public cemetery here in Mount Olive, the cemetery said, no, we don't want to turn this into a union shrine. So what happened then was the union purchased some of this land in Mount Olive and turned this into a union cemetery. So everybody who is buried here in this cemetery is a member of the union and is cared for to this day by union workers. Here in this Mount Olive Union Cemetery is the gravesite of Mary Jones, otherwise known as Mother Jones. Mother Jones was an Irish immigrant who lost her entire family due to the yellow fever, also lost her dress company in Chicago, but then became an effective union organizer against the coal companies. As a matter of fact, back in 1902, Mother Jones was known as the most dangerous woman in America for her ability to help coal miners and their families organize against the coal companies. This replica gas station is outside of Stoughton, Illinois, right before you get to St. Louis. And here you'll find a bunch of memorabilia, and you can even get a little information here. Another attraction along Route 66 is the Pink Elephant Antique Mall. Here you'll find all sorts of oddities, like a spaceship, a UFO ship with mannequins inside, a hippo, a rhino, a giraffe, and of course, the pink elephant. There's a guy walking his skeleton chicken. We've even got the chipmunks. And Bob's big boy next to this big boy. All sorts of oddities here at the Pink Elephant Antique Mall.
Thanks for visiting the Pink Elephant Antique Mall. We have items upstairs, downstairs, and on the stage. While you're here, grab an ice cream cone at the diner or some fudge from the candy store. Thanks again.
All sorts of antiques in the antique mall. Riker would like these. Tonight we're going to try to stay at Rustic Acres Jellystone Park. But alas, it is closed for the season. Dang it.
All right.
So we couldn't find any campgrounds that were open or any boondocking sites in this area. So we're going to spend the night at a Cracker Barrel parking lot because they allow overnight camping. This is the very first time we're doing this. We're at Cracker Barrel, we might as well get something to eat, huh?
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
I'm hungry. Hungry. These big mallow cups. Gummy sushi. Yummy ushi. Ooh, I kind of like that. I can't remember the last time we ate at a Cracker Barrel. It's been years. Everything looks and smells so good. So I like this game when I go to Cracker Barrel. It's pretty fun. The goal is to jump the pegs and then try to leave as few as possible. They say if you leave only one, you're a genius. If you leave two, you're pretty smart. If you leave three, then you're just plain dumb. And if you leave four or more, you're just plain ignoramus. Looks like I'm an ignoramus. Brad. Dang. Why don't you try it? Think you could do better? Like you got the fish, that looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the shepherd's pie. Holy cow. So join us next week as we continue to get our kicks on Route 66. We're going to make our way to St. Louis, Missouri. Who knows what trouble we'll get into and what we'll find. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. In the meantime, happy trails.